The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club.
11 rounds weren't enough at the U.S. Chess Championships in St. Louis. Now it's time for a playoff. Wesley So, Sam Sevian, and Fabiano Caruana occupy the top spot on a crowded podium, looking to knock off their rivals and claim the title for themselves. 3 gladiators are prepared to battle for glory and the title of the U.S. Chess Champion. The climactic culmination of the 2021 U.S. Championships coming up next.
And welcome back to St. Louis for the finale of the 2021 U.S. Championship. Well, we've already crowned a champion in Carissa Yip in the women's division, but in the open, we've got to take care of business as Fabiano Caruana, Wesley So, and Sam Sevian will go at it and try to etch their name in championship lore. To call all the exciting action, we're gonna jump to the studio with Christian and Yasser.
The majestic Gateway Arch overlooking the vibrant city of St. Louis, host of the 2021 U.S. Chess Championship and U.S. Women's Chess Championship. From the studio at the St. Louis Chess Club, I am your host, Grandmaster Cristian Chirila, and I'm joined by my brilliant co-host, Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan. Yasser, this is it, the finale.
Absolutely, Christian. It's been a wonderful event, and it's been great calling the action with you and Maurice.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live coverage of the 2021 U.S. Championships. It's playoffs time. We had a very, very nervy championship round 11, but let's take a look at our standings after those 11 rounds. Christian, do the honors. Start with the ladies.
We're going to start with the ladies indeed. Well, we had one dominant champion, that is Carissa Yip, who just stormed through the event, dominated the field, and took home the coveted title as well as $25,000.
Very nice. And what happened? Of course, there she is. What a beautiful smile.
Absolutely.
Bravo,
it was
Carissa.
a riveting championship
in
the ladies, indeed.
And what happened in the Open?
In the Open, well, things are a little bit more murky. We have Fabiano Caruana, Wesley So, and Sam Sevian heading into today's playoffs.
And what are those tie breaks? There they are, tied at the top.
That's one Fabiano Caruana, one Wesley So, and one Sam Sevian, the newcomer to the playoff scenario.
Exactly. And what is the playoff scenario?
Well, we have 3 players tied for first, so we are going to play a rapid round robin. The game is going to be in 10 minutes with a 2-second delay. We don't have increment anymore. Right now we're playing with delay. If after that first rapid round robin, 2 players are still going to be tied, then they're going to be playing a 2-game blitz mini match. Game in 3 plus 2 seconds delay. If 3 players are still tied, then they will move on to a blitz round robin. Game in 3 plus 2-second delay.
And what happens if 2 players are tied after all of that?
Well, that's when madness ensues on the board because we will get the Armageddon. White is getting 5 minutes, Black is getting 4 minutes, and Black also gets the draw odds. No increment, no delay is going to be wild.
Absolutely. And last night, there was a drawing of lots performed by the arbiters to determine today's pairings. Let's listen in on how they did it from last night.
So, Chris, will you draw for Grandmaster Samuel Sevian first? And what number at the bottom? Number 1. And then you draw for Grandmaster Wesley So. Three. That means that the last pawn better have number 2. For Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana, number 2. Okay, for the draw of lots, it is Samuel Sevian, number 1. And Caruana, number 2. Wesley So, number 3.
And that takes us to this scenario. In round number 1, Sam Sevian is going to take a rest. Caruana is going to be facing Wesley So. Caruana with the white pieces. Then in round number 2, Sam Sevian comes well rested and is facing Fabiano Caruana. And then in round number 3, Wesley So will be facing Sam Sevian.
So our two favorites face off in round 1. Oh, that's exciting. But Maurice Ashley is in studio to tell us the line scores of the players and how they got here. Maurice, it's been a pleasure calling all the action with you. Great to see you for the playoffs.
Thanks, Yaz. It has been incredible. The drama in this tournament has been so intense indeed. And now we get 3 separate players. We've got 2 superstars in the world of chess in Fabiano Caruana and Wesley So, and then the upstart in Sam Sevian. Just amazing. Who will win? One player going after his 3rd title, the defending champ right now, Wesley So. Another in Fabi going after his 2nd, and Sam Sevian trying to upset the apple cart and get his 1st. Speaking of Sam, let's take a look at his line score. He started out with a win in round 3, but then had what seemed to be a devastating loss in round 5. But much like a champ, he came back in rounds 6 and 7 and got 2 wins and then coasted the rest of the way to be now in a tie for 1st. Wesley So, speaking of coasting, Wesley won in round 2 and 7, but that was it. A bunch of draws, a couple of missed opportunities for him. He was quite dejected in not being able to seal the deal in the first phase of the event. Now he's got his hands full against 2 hungry monsters who want to take the title. And we want to talk about a monster. This player, the world number 2, he looked dead in the coffin, pour on the grave, the dirt, and walk away crying. Except, no, he had a new story to write after round 6. -1 turned into a win at even, then a draw, and then 2 wins in rounds 9 and 10. Find him tied atop the leaderboard with a chance. Will he be able to show just what kind of gladiator he truly is? Fabiano Caruana would write an epic story if he won, but that's why we play the games. We'll see in a minute who is going to be the champion.
Remarkable comeback, to be sure, Maurice. And let's go up to Tony for the start of today's playoffs.
Hello and welcome to the playing hall on the playoff day of the 2021 U.S. Chess Championships. I'm Tony Rich. I will be joined here with the chief arbiter, Frank Guadalupe, and all 3 of our players, Sam Sevian, Fabiano Caruana, and Wesley So. They'll compete in a round-robin format, rapid time control event. Time controls game in 10 minutes with a 2-second delay. At the end of the round robin, if we produce a clear winner, he will be named our U.S. champion. If not, we repeat the same procedure. At a faster time control, we go with game in 3 minutes with a 2-second delay. So it'll be a blitz time control if necessary. And finally, if we have to, we go down to Armageddon games to determine the champion. So as the arbiters are preparing the clocks and getting the playing hall set, as the players are arriving, we'll begin the round in just a moment. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. And Yasser, you were wondering what
as we see the players, a little nervy affair there. Wesley and Fabi getting ready for these playoffs, but
they're smiling.
They're smiling.
Nervous smile.
A nervous smile. As Sam, as you said, sits out. There's Jeannie Sinkfield, little fist bump.
There's Leonard.
Yeah, and we've seen the increment throughout this entire event. They get the 30-second bonus. Take our viewers again. What's the delay?
So delay is very different. Whenever you play with increment, you win extra time every time you make a move. With delay, you don't win anything. You cannot gain any time. So the way it works, once your opponent presses the clock, your delay starts running. So in this case, we have a 2-second delay.
Okay.
1, 2, and now your clock starts running.
So always and throughout this entire playoffs, the clocks will be ticking down.
Precisely.
They will never jump up, they'll tick down, but they won't start immediately to tick down.
Yes, there will be a delay.
And when these 2 players face off against each other, look at that score.
And
Holy, and this is rapid chess,
This
by
is
the way.
rapid chess. That's why you're
Wow.
seeing so many games, because these players have been playing so many times against each other.
That's
Seven
Grand
games.
66 games, I believe.
That's a lot.
You could write a
66.
book, Maurice.
I can't imagine how many stories are in that one, but the edge goes to Wesley. He has been a better rapid player than Fabiano
Pretty big
over
edge.
the years, no question about it. This time, though, he does have the black pieces.
And this is Sam waiting nervously to see what will be the results.
Well, I
between
think he's
these
crossing
two.
his fingers. Draw.
Yeah, right.
Draw. He doesn't need them putting up a number. A certain player wins now, it will tell Sam that that's a full point someone has, and he's going to have to win as well, more likely than not. He could still somehow do it with no, he can't. Yeah, he could somehow still do it with two draws.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to have to be in that situation. So a win now is huge. And who has the edge as Fabi plays 2 games back to back? Wesley plays 1 now and at the end, and Sam gets the last 2. Who would you guys rather be?
In terms of
I feel it's a big
gamesmanship,
disadvantage. Big disadvantage for Fabiano starting with 2 games.
Right.
Because then that gives his opponents a lot of extra information, and that is Genius infield right there. With
Then
the
again,
ring bell.
We might have a short day. Fabi wins this game, wins the next game. We're done. That's it. Nobody can catch him. We don't play the last game.
Yeah,
So here we go.
and this 10-minute game in progress.
Ooh, the Botvinnik English to start out. This was
Right.
something I used back in the day. Ronald Simpson, my late friend, showed me exactly this opening, and here we go.
Yeah, I love to play the English myself, although I didn't play this particular line. I love the queenside expansion, and both players playing pretty quickly. In fact, the delay, if you look at it, has meant that Fabi hasn't used any time at all.
Nope.
He's played all of his moves within that first 2 seconds as his clock remains frozen at 10.
And
Why-
that move, bishop e3, was very interesting without the rook on e1. So when you recapture, you have to recapture with the f-pawn, changing
Absolutely.
completely the pawn structure.
Yeah, but at the same time, that pawn on e3, that double pawn on e3 does, and we see it right there, prevent any knight on c6 to jump into d4. And very quickly, Wesley brought his passive knight, I want to say, this knight on e7, pardon me, the knight on c6 to e7 into g6.
And you might be wondering what that ring is that Wesley is using to play to fidget with. That is the U.S. Chess Championship
I was about
ring.
to say, isn't that the U.S. Championship
It
ring?
is.
Yeah. It was really pity. I mean, they came out with these gold rings for the first time in Seattle in 2000, and ever since they've given them to the champions. But I could have 4. I should have 4. Queen
now-
d2. Now,
Big moment for Fabiano. Where will he focus his plan? On the queen side with a4, a5 and try to gain as much space as possible, or d4 and try to play in the center?
I think he plays in the center. I think the move rook e8, just to tamp down any ambitions of white playing the move d3, d4. And I think from Wesley's point of view, he wants to play for his central blade, c6, d5, playing on the king side with something crazy like h5, h4, trying to gain space over there, in my view, makes no sense.
Rook e8 is a novelty, we've been told. That move is new. It does suppress the d4 push, and now rook leaving. a5, by the way, is a move that black can consider. White will probably just advance past it with b up.
By the way,
there it
was
is.
played.
a5 has been played, and I think you'll see b5. That's right, most logical way to play on that side, but that does allow for a hook with the move c6. That has been played, and black is certainly intending to go for d5, as you mentioned, Yaz.
Yeah.
White center coming quickly under pressure.
Could we see the actual shot? Because I'm not 100% that those were the moves that were played.
Those were the moves that were played,
How so?
100%.
They were.
Yeah,
Okay.
a6. You mean the view of the
The
board?
bird's eye view.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it was definitely that.
Those were the moves, indeed.
And Bishop D, man, I feel like Ronald Simpson is somewhere channeling
He's smiling.
these moves, because this just feels right up my old school alley, days in Brooklyn. And that bishop now coming to a new diagonal. It could also pursue the c2 square as well, so that the d4 push can be made without any worries. But that bishop is very flexible where it is. Actually, yeah, the release of the file already d4 becomes a possibility. And Wesley with a temporizing move, h6 I think he played?
h6 was played indeed, and now we expect bishop to a4, try to create some tension on the pawn on c6. Whenever you play the move bishop to d7 to defend, now I'm primed to open up the d file and put more pressure on d6.
And the bishop, I'm very curious as to where this bishop goes, because it has so many squares.
D4 straight.
No,
straight away.
He's going straight with d4.
Straight away.
Look at this pawn formation, guys, by white.
I'm not that impressed with the move h7, h6. I thought Wesley, just that move ago, it was now was the time. Break out in the center with c6, pardon me, d6, d5. But h7, h6 gave white opportunity to execute what he wanted to do, which was, now it's very confusing. If you put your queen in front of your rook, why did we use the tempo to play rook e8? We know that the move rook e8 is a novelty, but queen looks very strange to my eyes on the c7 square. And I liked, a moment ago we were talking about the move bishop a3, bishop a4.
The problem, though, that I see with this position for white is how to improve it. Like, what are your next few moves? One of the problems with this structure is that it can become brittle. You have the space, but that pawn on e3 stands in your way, and you don't get another break. You get the d4 push, but you don't get to make another break, like an f4 push, for example. And so you're sitting on this position, and black says, okay, you've got all that space, very solid. You see bishop c2, but what do you do to improve the position? Where you can't trade on e5, that normally gives you nothing. Take it on c6 gives you nothing. Maybe a c5 break would be nice, but that doesn't seem like it leads anywhere. So Wesley now playing bishop d7, he's saying, your position, you've got the space. I'm going to put a rook on d8, and then I'm going to drop my bishop back, and we might just be staring at each other, because what are you supposed to do with the white pieces?
White is going to try to play something along the lines of h3, I think. h3, queen to f2. This is the plan I'm seeing, at least.
And then
now.
what?
And try to put some pressure on the f file. I would love to get a knight to f5.
Exactly.
But I don't, maybe knight to e2, knight to g3, knight to f5, but I have to be very careful.
You see, all that's a
when I play knight d2,
d5.
d5.
He's played much more concretely with d5.
Whoa, I don't like this move one bit.
I did not expect, and I do not like.
I don't like that move.
And what do we see right now?
That c5 square is weakened, but
that's
and
very
capture,
strange.
yes, absolutely. I tell you, that was a tricky position to play, and you had to be patient. Christian, what you said was very important, that patience may have been the right measure there, as d5 does not feel right, and he's weakened the c5 square permanently, and he's going to have to fight for squares now, as he can't dominate the position as he was anymore. Wesley actually has an open file and a key square on c5 to work with.
Yeah, in my view, definitely a mistake by Fabi. He should have played a4, bishop d3, king g1, knight g1, knight e2, knight g3, knight f5, and brought the knight to f5, just keeping all the tension. Unfortunately for him, he's going to discover that when this rook slides over to c8, the bishop slides back to e8, and this knight starts, this c5 square is
very tender.
forever. Ooh,
by the way,
a4. Now that's a committal move.
Was played.
That's a committal move. That means, that says to me that Wesley is intending to redirect his queen to the a5 square. Otherwise, why put the pawn on a4 where it's
a target pawn, in fact.
But he could also maybe play queen to d8 to b6.
Is
E3?
Fabi planning b6 himself? Which seems quite odd, but maybe concrete, gain some space over there. The thing is that black's pieces, the whole battle now is on the queen side.
Clear.
Right? That's just clean. Everybody's going to be fighting for those squares. And maybe you need to get another hook on that side, as queen d8 has been played. b6 is very committal, no question about it. But it gains some space. You could have put a rook on b1, another rook on c1, and say to black, what do you do to really do anything?
Clear.
The problem with
but, the
b6
problem-
is that I'm going to be able to redirect my knight with tempo because I want to get to the c5
Sure.
square. After b6, I'm going to also have a target en route to that c5 square. I'm going to play bishop to e8, followed by knight to d7 potentially.
That's
and
why
knight
we're
to
playing
c5 or
rook
knight to
b1.
d6.
So the problem I see with b6 is I go after b6, rook c5. And after you play rook b1, I
And we
play...
do have a move. Queen to b4 was
and
played.
I'm expecting queen a5 by Wesley.
Queen a5 or queen
And-
b6?
No, queen
did he play?
a5.
Queen a5, and we see a trade of queens.
Rook take queen. Oh, that happened very quickly. Like, they didn't even need the delay. Now, I mean, from Fabi's point of view, he better be really, really fast
Knight d2,
in
knight
terms of
c4.
getting his knight to c4. Otherwise, Black is going to take over the game very quickly. Black is going to put his bishop back to d7, his knight to f, and we've spoken about this already.
But that
getting his knight to
said,
c5.
that said about being very fast, a knight on c4 looks very, very good.
It's
You
awesome,
have to go
right?
knight to d2 right now.
I mean, knight d2, knight c4, that starts threats, it hits weaknesses. It even prepares knight b2.
Yep.
Let's get
yep,
cracking,
yep.
and that's exactly what I
Is that?
think
I don't think that's what he did. He
Maybe
didn't
not.
seem.
He
No,
played
knight
knight
Whoa.
a2.
What a move.
Knight d2
Wow.
looks so natural. I'm shocked by this last move. Is he headed to,
Well, he still
to
has the same.
c6?
But
Or-
guys, what's happening right now after knight to g4?
Knight to g4 is a question. Give me
It
the
is a
pawn.
And he played it. Knight to
Knight to
g4 was
G4.
played. Right now, you cannot keep control of the c file. You have to take on c8 and go rook to e1 to defend that pawn, but that allows black to go rook c5, take over the initiative. Black is to be preferred right now.
Oh, big time.
Well, he does have h3 chasing the knight back, no? After.
No, the whole purpose of the knight sortie to the g4 square was just to win the c file. If you have to play...
I'm saying rook takes,
c-
rook takes.
Rook takes, rook takes.
And then rook e1.
Rook e1.
If you play rook c5, I play h3.
And then
Knight
I'll go
F6.
back.
Knight f6. And now if I play rook c1,
And rook to e1 is on the
And
board.
then knight to e7. And we've got rook e1 on the board.
By the way, a big question right now for
Yes.
Wesley So is if he can take on c1,
Yes.
and if Fabiano takes back with the rook, can you take the pawn on e3, or is that not
That's
going to
dangerous.
be
rook
trapped?
c7.
That's
a great
dangerous,
point.
right?
Great
That's
defense
going
by
to be trapped.
Fabi there. Rook takes. So there's no domination on the c file right now.
I think knight e7. Knight e7.
King to
f8.
f8 was
King
played.
f8
Wow, what- and the
played,
clocks- and the clock
and he
times.
can play h3 at any time. He can also start with knight d2 again. What's wrong with knight d2?
Both players down to their last 5 minutes.
His knight is not
At the
doing
midway
anything
point.
at all on f3. Why doesn't he want to move it?
I don't know.
It's so strange.
The other question for me, which is also very strange, was Fabi brought his knight to a2, possibly to b4 and onwards to c6.
I think he was fighting for the c file, yes.
Knight
And
to
he's put his
But now
knight
he's
on
putting it on
b4.
b4. Now, I saw knight c6, but not as a real threat. Are you serious? You're gonna
Yeah, I
put your
mean,
knight
you
on
post
C6?
your knight on c6.
And then what? If I don't take it, for example.
Exactly.
But now you don't have any support on c1. So what if I just trade the rooks and then go rook to c8? Challenge the rook on the c file, and you cannot capture on c8 and exchange the rooks.
No, be
because-
careful
can.
because you could
I
lose
could
your
still-
a pawn.
But your pawn on e3 is
Yeah, you get the
indefensible.
e3 and he get the a pawn, and then he has two passers. I mean, he has 2 against 1 on the queen side.
the way,
that
king-
that's something to calculate at least.
h3 was played.
Okay, here's the moment. Nope.
Knight
He didn't want any parts
He
of that.
didn't want
Rook takes
any,
rook.
any rook
And the
takes and
e-pawn.
knight takes. He didn't want to do it. He
And
didn't want to look
finally
at
the
it.
knight is going to c4.
Finally. But that b pawn is going to hang when you play knight c4. So he's got to time that properly as well.
don't
Unless
understand the king
your
here.
king is not on e8, because if the king is on e8, then I can take on d6 after
With
that.
a
check.
The last
don't-
two, the king moves by Wesley So.
So,
Very
so
strange.
some mistimed.
King
Yeah,
to
there you
e7.
go. He mistimed. He mistimed it all. I mean,
Yes.
he lost. This knight should actually be in the game.
But guys,
Visa c8.
what if I actually go knight to c4 right now?
And bishop takes b5.
And knight to b6?
I take the rook,
I take back.
and I have to defend
With
the
rook
knight.
to a5,
And then you've got to give me
rook
a
to
check.
c7. I
You
feel
might
like
have
I'm
the
getting
Ooh,
in.
that's good.
I'm getting in.
That looks worth it. He's looking at it right now. They're down to 4 minutes and 35 seconds for Wesley, 3:57
Calculating.
for Fabi. So Fabi, he's got a great chance here. Knight c4 looks excellent. Looks at least dynamic. You know why? Because the two knights on the king side are not in play.
They're stuck.
They're over there for now, and you have a full concentration of pieces on the other side. He's definitely analyzing knight to c4 to see if it's worth it. How else does he improve on that side?
So knight to c4 one more time. If I take on b5,
I go knight to b6.
knight to b6. I take on c1. You
I
take on
back on
c1. I take on d3.
You can take on d3. And now
then I take
the
on
question is
d4.
whether yes.
So I
You
got
lose your b
two-
pawn though.
I get two
You get
pawns.
two pawns.
And maybe the third. Maybe
But then I get the b pawn, and then I think I'm going to get the a pawn as well. It's going to be a
That's
very
what he was
strange
looking
race.
at. You saw him go deep into the tank. That must have been what.
That's
And he
a
played
lot
it.
of
He played it.
It's
calculation.
on the board. That he knew that was the move. I'm sure Wesley knew that was the move as well. And that was a
It cost him
90-second think in a
That's
10-minute
a
game.
big thing. That's a big thing. No question about
No
it.
increment. No increment. You're never getting that time back.
3 minutes for Fabiano, 4 minutes and 15 seconds for Wesley, and he
A
played.
completely different
Rook to
ideas.
c5.
Rook c5, knight b6, rook a5. The idea is you can't, well, you are welcome to take the rook on c5, but after d takes c5. So
Knight to
Yes,
b6
sir.
is on the
There's a
board.
knight c6 check hanging in the wings. At some point,
Yasser doesn't believe you.
nobody.
No?
No.
the
Knight
engine's
b6
giving
is
knight
played.
c6 is winning right now.
Knight c6.
Right now, winning.
Whoa! That would
Will
be a
he go for it?
move.
Will he go for it?
I mean, intuitively, it doesn't look like it should be playable, but the tactics may favor knight c6.
What?
Critical
What a
moment for
move.
Fabiano Caruana right now.
What a move. If that works, that's sheer genius. Poetry.
The thing, it's just unstoppable. Knight c6 is fantastic. Matter of fact, I just threw some moves into the engine, and this position could easily arise with the move d6 check, king takes, knight c4 check, picking off that rook on a5. That's the winning money combination. Knight c6 right now, a brilliancy. He's calculating it, no question about it. That move has been hovering in the air for some time. It
He's gonna
actually
play.
works right now.
If he
think he's gonna
doesn't play it,
I think
well,
he's gonna
he
play
is
it.
forced to play it because that pawn on b5 is
That's the
hanging and he's going to
problem.
get lost.
Oh, he didn't
No.
play it. But he
That's
can
okay.
play it
He can
now.
still
He
play
can
knight
play it
c6.
now. There it is.
Wow.
Okay, he thought that it was important to include the move rook takes c5. Did he make the right decision, Maurice?
He
is
did. He's
a
just
perfect
fine. He is
calculation
just
from Fabiano
fine,
Caruana.
and now he's winning. He is
No,
winning
really
this
as well.
position. Amazingly beautiful combination with knight to c6. And Wesley So now with a lot of extra time on the clock, but the position says that he has lost. Those knights again on the king side, sitting there out of the battle, while everything, the party, is on the queen side of the board.
I really thought that tempo loss, king e8, king e7, was crucial because this knight in particular is not, as you say, Maurice, in the scrum. Where do I put the rook? Because I'm a little bit afraid that d6 check in some variation is going to cost me. But if I put the rook back here, then there's a potential fork on
That's the problem.
c8.
That
I don't
is
have a good.
precisely the problem. And
Maybe-
you actually don't have a lot of useful moves right now.
Maybe my best move is c5, c4 to give
Or
my
knight to f8, trying to,
To-
come back with one of the knights.
But c4 right now, yes?
Yes.
Allowing d6?
Exactly. That's the type of thing I'm saying. I've got to force the action, and I can take knight check. I can take a
again?
pawn.
Oh my goodness. But
Wesley
takes
So
again,
lose an
takes again on a5.
exchange. I lose an exchange, but at least I get a pawn for my efforts.
This
and
is-
Wesley's
this is
gone
really
into
bad.
a tank.
Wesley has one trump in this position, and that is his time advantage.
It's rapidly
Which is
dissipating.
Yeah, you can have as much time as you want. When you're playing Fabiano Caruana, he'll figure out how to beat you.
Okay.
And again, those knights are out of play. He needs to figure out some way
Can he
of
play-
organizing his forces
Can he
to
play-
bring the knights back.
Can he play bishop takes c6, d takes c6, king back to d8?
I don't buy it. I don't buy it because again, it
That might
just feels
be
like
the
there should
only
be a
way,
tempo.
but it feels like you're hanging on by a thread at that point.
Suggestions?
Don't ask us.
Well, okay, I made a suggestion and you shot me down without even analyzing.
He played it.
I mean, come on.
He played it.
I make a suggestion and you say you can't do it.
You guys have been doing that to me from the beginning of the show.
It's on the board, guys. Rook
It's
to
on the
B1.
board. It
Feels
was, Yasser,
very
you're right.
natural
It was the
right
best
now.
chance, though.
Oh, he played knight to D5.
Knight to D5 after King D8. King D8's on the board, right?
Yes, knight to D5, knight takes D5, knight to E7.
He's
targeting
going
that pawn on
for a dark square
D5.
blockade after E4. He wants to play king to C7, rook back, and somehow get his king brilliant. Oh, he's doing it in a completely different way. He's putting his knight on D6 right away. I thought he had, but this way he has C5, C4.
Those
I
moves are
think
on.
the position has
It
changed.
has completely turned. Fabi
I think
blundered.
he blundered.
Fabi blundered. He missed earlier a rook B1 move, and now it is turned around, and a blockade is firmly in place
C4.
with the knight on D6.
C4, let's go. This could be one of the biggest turnarounds because we've got rook B5 in the position too, as well as knight B5.
F5 is also a move at that point.
F5 is a
Right
move
now.
because of rook takes D5. You're
If you
absolutely
take
right.
on F5, I take on D5. You have to defend that pawn on E4 with the king.
I
king to
really would
E3.
like to play
He's
king
going for it.
C7 first, but he
F5
didn't do
is
it.
on the board.
He played F5 first. Your move, nicely spotted, Christian.
So what if you go king to E3 right now?
King to E3. I'm really worried that one of these days I'm just going to go after your A3 pawn.
35 seconds left for Fabi. He knew he had a great position, and he has blown it. And now what? He's got to figure out how to not lose, as he's never getting extra time on the clock.
Time is down.
23 seconds, and he's frozen.
What?
You've got to get in flow.
And
And
he's
he's finally
played
played
King
King E3 and King C7, stopping any Rook
Instantly.
B8. Rook B8 is now off
The table.
off the table.
Right.
What is he supposed to do with the white pieces?
He
A
just
loss
played
for
rook b4.
Fabiano Caruana
Takes,
with the white pieces
takes.
is almost instant elimination.
Exactly, and C3, that was the big money move right there, because again, he's threatening rook takes D5, guys.
You have to make a
4
move.
seconds, 3, 2, 1. He's got to make a move, and he's got 1 second for the rest of the
Rook
game.
takes D5.
He's got to play instantly now or lose on time.
That is
And he's lost on
over.
time.
Two.
Oh my goodness.
And what a turn, dramatic. Where did he miss his chance, Maurice? It was a dramatic
Well, let's just first look at Wesley So
turnaround.
there. That's a huge win, forcing Fabi into a must-win game
Oh,
on the
my
next game.
word.
And that's not enough for his destiny, because if he wins, he's got to hope Wesley loses the last game. That was such a massive turnaround
Wesley
in that game. Incredible.
losing with the white pieces.
With the white
I don't
against
see
Sam
it. I don't
Sevian.
see it. I don't see it.
And we see Sam
Sevian
waiting in
was
the
like,
wings.
I mean, like you said at the start there, Maurice, I think Sam was saying, draw, please.
Yes.
You guys just make a draw so that when it's my turn to play, I'm not under the pressure of having to win. Over to your board, Maurice. Where did that moment? Was it knight D5?
Well, by the way, we should note, Sam is now forced to win 1 game.
Precisely.
Sam cannot draw 2 games.
So that could open up the possibility
Right.
of Fabiano Caruana taking advantage of that need of Sam Sevian to win this game and potentially win a game himself.
Well, it may not be
Yes.
this game.
Yes.
If he decides that he has to win with white against Fabi,
he needs to win with
then
white.
that opens the door. He doesn't need to win with white. He has 2 chances to win. Of course, the odds of winning with white in the next game,
No, with black.
with black, I mean,
Sam
the
Sevian
odds of
with
winning with
black
black in the next
against
game
Wesley.
are much lower, but he doesn't absolutely need to win. Let's just make that clear. If he draws now and wins the next game, he is the winner. So he's got 2 chances: win against Fabi, or win against Fabi, and then he's fine against Wesley. Draw is fine, or draw with Fabi and beat Wesley, and he's the champion. So he's got 2 options in his mind. You've got to think he wants to win with the white pieces, though, right? That's
needs
what
to win.
you would think, but he does not have to win.
I think this is almost a must-win situation for him. Because Wesley So is with the white pieces.
But you're
when
saying-
he wants to make a draw.
But you're saying
he's almost unbeatable.
from a practical point of view, it's a must-win. But from a technical point of view, it is not.
Technical, yes.
Let's just be clear. From a
But-
technical point of view, it's not. But from a practical point of view, you're right. You don't want to draw and then have to face Wesley with black trying to win the game.
And here is our pairings for round 2.
Well, Fabiano Caruana fell under the sharp sword of Wesley So. Sharp and fast, because Wesley was fast and furious in this game.
Wesley was
right now
dead.
we have Sam Sevian
Wesley
versus
was-
Fabiano.
But
Number 2.
Wesley played quickly, but he definitely had a lost position. And I think the problem for Fabi is he just kind of drifted his way into a blockade position. He missed when he played the move King D8. He missed the opportunity, I think, to play Rook B1 right here.
Yep, that was the move. That was the moment precisely.
This was the critical moment right here. Fabi played the move Knight D5, and Wesley somehow beautifully managed to blockade everything, and the tide turned. But if he had started with the initial move Rook B1, then it's wholly different. This knight on G6 is not getting back into play. He's got the threat of Knight C4, and in this case, King C7, Knight to D5, and after King takes, Rook to B6 check. White is the one with the much better ending
the winning position.
Winning
not
position.
Even close.
Wow. So when he, and for Fabi,
Missing
you couldn't
Rook
think
B1,
of a worse way of starting these playoffs, losing with White. I think
is a
that
disaster.
almost kills it.
It's almost instant elimination for him. Technically, he's still in mathematically still within realm of winning this championship,
But practically, it's really, really, wow.
Incredible moment. Just so bad for him. The worst start he could possibly have to lose that position. A draw, and there's all to play for. To lose that great position he had, as you mentioned, he has Rook B1 and get a position like this would have been just so majestic as a start. But we've seen Fabi falter in rapid and blitz. It's not exactly his total specialty there, unfortunately. But look at Sam's focus. He knows this is a big game. It's easier for him to win this game and then compete with Wesley. By the way, a draw against Wesley means that he and Wesley, if he wins this game, a draw against Wesley means that he and Wesley go to another playoffs. Let's be clear. If he beats Fabi now and he draws Wesley in the next game, then Wesley and Sam will be tied at 1.5, and we'll still be here watching even more playoff action.
And while we take a moment to let the players reset their minds, their mindset. Commercial sponsor with the Q Boutique, Christian.
Absolutely. Holiday season is coming and you need to get your gifts ready. And we do have at QBoutiqueSTL.com this beautiful US Chess Championship, 2021 US Chess Championship t-shirts, polos, we have hoodies, all sorts of merchandise.
And I feel like we've gone through an enormous amount of the catalog that is available at Q Boutique, because we pulled out some chess sets and chess boards and all kinds of different apparel during the whole. So do make an effort to go on site and do your shopping.
And we also have a promo code, CHAMPS21.
To get
You're going to get 20% off of everything.
Well, for Wesley, this couldn't have been a better start. He now gets a break and to think to himself, oh my goodness, you guys go ahead and make a draw, and then I'm going to draw with White against Sam Sevian.
There will be no draw. Fabi will be resigning if other than drawing. Like there's no way Fabi's going to allow a draw on this chessboard.
Think of
He'd rather
how
lose.
close Fabi was to winning this whole thing yesterday. Oh my word.
Painful.
Some
kind of justice in chess. You don't win it, too bad, you got to go. You're not going to be the champ.
He was so close to winning it yesterday, but also he was so close to winning this game against Wesley So. He actually played a brilliant game up to that
a
point.
moment.
Rook to B1, Knight to D5 just spoils everything, because after that, practically it's not an easy game. With Black having that blockade, that Knight on D6 so powerful, like an octopus defending that entry square on B7, supporting the pawn push on both sides, C4 and F5,
and hitting
such a
E4.
difficult knight to play against.
Very big moment he missed there.
By the way, hat tip to Wesley. I mean, he played really with his back to the wall. Really, really, really great. Once he got his grips on the position, he never let it go. And this is where we stand so far after one round.
You know, you say that, guys, and I feel like this was Caruana's game to win or lose. Wesley got his chance, of course, and once he could get his knight in the game, I think you, me, Christian, any decent grandmaster would say, okay, we got you now. You let my knight get on d6? What did you do?
Rook takes d5.
That was such a bad mistake by Fabi that it just made life too easy for Wesley.
And guys, I just also want to say one thing. When I mean, we have been witnessing for 11 rounds really hard-fought chess where that increment, I mean, the players are getting used to moving, getting the 30-second bonus. But we saw that once the clock really, really ticked down by Fabi, and he never got the time back.
We see a Vienna.
He was going to lose on time.
Yeah, he was not. He was a 1 second try to make those moves.
Exactly.
He had no
He
chance.
was gonna lose
Plus
on time.
his position was bad anyway. Vienna opening.
Vienna with f4? No.
Vienna.
No,
What was
says-
it, Billy Joel? Vienna waits for you.
Nice. I don't know that song. Vienna waits for you.
Fabiano
here we go.
is
Guys.
playing his
We're-
last card right now. If he doesn't win this game, he's out.
I think he's happy to see something a lot
Offbeat? Absolutely.
Offbeat is not going to be
Absolutely.
any forced draw, lots of pieces. He's also going to be able to get that bishop. So he created imbalance by capturing the bishop on c4. So Fabi has a little something to play for.
Very cagey play there by Fabi, as he doesn't just immediately grab the bishop on c4. He just waits. I'm not sure what the theory is. We're in a very dusty part of the opening chess library. By the way, guys, the Vienna, I'm not sure when the last time I saw it.
He's
in
captured
top
the
play.
bishop on c4 and attacking a pawn.
I'm not sure. I'm not that big a fan of the move knight g3, but he's playing for a light square, maybe queen d3 now.
Queen to d3, pawn to b3.
Keeping
You're going
an
to have a
eye.
cagey setup trying
But-
to take advantage of that d6 pawn, which is going to get weakened because black at some point will have to play c6 and take advantage of the fact that you have a majority on that side.
Yeah, but c6 and d5 worries me a lot.
c6 and d5, yes.
And if I put my bishop on g5 with the knight on g3, h6 asks a very, very pertinent question, as does this
Well-timed
move.
moment. I'm feeling like f5 is a potential break for black, but I don't know how to get my knight to guard that square. I'd like to have a knight guarding it, but it doesn't seem possible. The d5
old-
break, I'm not a major fan of.
The old knight e8, knight to g7
Right, G6
rerouting.
kind of reroute.
b3 is
So
on the board.
b2, b3, to my mind, spells the intent, at least, of playing bishop e3. I want to rob my opponent of his trumps. In this case, the trumps for black are the two bishops. So rather than playing b3 with the idea of playing bishop b2, I believe Sam is playing b3.
A5.
What?
How unrelated to the position could that
don't
move
see
be?
how-
I don't even understand what this move's about.
How that connects with the previous play.
It doesn't secure the
A5.
bishop on c5 in any way. If there were a
And
knight there, maybe, but
It wasn't like White's intent ever was to play a3 and b4. Okay, maybe Fabi's just ready to meet bishop e3 with knight d7.
I do believe that a5
could be
is
it.
aimed against knight to a4. I think White was trying to get that bishop, that dark square bishop with knight to a4.
makes sense.
Ah.
Makes sense in that way, at least.
And just
At
take
least
some
it's reasonable.
space advantage on that side. He's not feeling like the pawn on a5 is a liability, at least not right now.
I think with the knight d7 maneuver you mentioned, yes, this makes a lot of sense.
Well, to trying to secure the c5 square, but
And there it is. I
He's
think you,
going
you
shot.
both made points there. The a5 move to save the bishop and the knight coming back to d7. But I think f5 is the move that black will have to aim for later. But I don't see how to make it work.
I'm doing it right now. I'm playing knight f5.
He played knight to d5, if I'm not mistaken. Knight to b5.
Boy 5.
What?
What is this? What is
Okay,
That's the wrong direction,
that
young
was
man.
a surprise direction. You're stopping c6, but why is my knight good on b? I thought knight if I couldn't go back for just a second, I thought the intent was to play knight f5 with the idea that if you do take, I get the very juicy central outpost e4 for my knight, but he went a completely different direction with knight b5. Big surprise for me.
Bishop takes c3, queen takes c3, knight to c5 is on the board.
Okay. And here
Now,
we
there's
go.
one thing I noticed in the knight on c5 has greener pastures also on f4. If he could possibly get it to e6. So that is something that Fabi will be considering. The problem I see on the queen side, actually, is that knight on b5 does keep your queen stuck. So right now we've seen rook d1. You might need to play something like queen e7. And again, it's not easy to unfurl, right? That knight on b5 is saying to you, check out your pawn on c7. Somebody has to guard that for a while. And if your knight leaves, there's going to be a c5 break as well. So it's not much. But there's another thing, too. Remember about this game. Fabi has to
needs
win.
to win.
So Sam knows he doesn't have to do much to provoke Fabi. Fabi will be provoked in time
He's done
and
it
will
to
have
himself.
to one day go for something in this
Let's
position.
go for f5.
That's what he has to do.
And he doesn't do it.
He
Queen
plays
to
queen
d7.
Queen d7.
No,
Oh,
never
b6.
mind. b6.
b7, b6.
That stops the c5 push later that I was talking about. Any break with c5 by white, because the pawn is now guarding the c5 square in case the knight leaves and that pressure on the d file. But sooner or later, he's going to have to play for f5, like a queen e7 and something on that side. I don't see exactly how he executes it, though.
Both players down to their last 7 minutes. 7 minutes and 45 for Fabiano Caruana, 7 minutes and 14 and counting for Sam Sevian.
Just a reminder to everybody, this is delay.
Delay, no increment.
There's no increments. It's a 2-second delay, which
A4
isn't much.
shutting down that side completely.
A4, stopping any A5, A4 ideas by
Ooh,
his
step
opponent.
one, king h7. Is he
King
going for
H7.
g6 and f5?
Maybe f5 directly.
I feel like g6 and f5
To create more imbalance in the position.
creates a lot of imbalance.
You gotta do something.
Also, the move f4, though, is a move for white once your pawn hits f5,
It is indeed.
right? So that's something, it's like both of them are looking at this move, f5 or f4. Wait a minute, do I want to do it? Do you want to do it? You do it.
No, I want you to do it.
I want you to do it first. So Fabi would love to see f4 happen so he can take and win the e5 square for a piece.
I like this move as a prelude. In case of f5 and you take and you play bishop takes, normally speaking, you would immediately capture on g3. Not, with the knight on g3, pardon me, the bishop on f5, but with the pawn defended, it does give you the option of keeping that trade and playing f4 immediately. So I like this move, rook
Bishop
d2.
to d7. Very cagey play by Fabiano.
Now he's headed to the f4 square.
Knight e6, knight to f4.
That knight had that path lined for it, and he can head to the f4 square if he wants to. Again, he's avoiding any kind of f5 push. And what did we see happen here?
Queen
The
g5, inviting a trade of queens.
The knight dropped back to c3. That was important because the queen couldn't leave.
Right. It was the e pawn, pardon me, the c7 pawn that was constantly on tap.
But he has to believe he has a better endgame, though, by doing this. Because if this is just equal, he's in trouble.
No, he knows it's an equal endgame.
But why would you trade queens? Why is black
Just to play
offering
a
a
long
trade
game.
of queens?
Just to play a long
Because
game.
he was probably afraid that after knight d5, white may favorably create a situation where f4 could come in. Here, in case of a trade of queens, he feels like he's playing for two results. You can't get in the move f4, and black can get in the move f5.
Also because Sam Sevian needs a win as well.
No, Sam does not need a win.
Technically not.
Fabi
but
needs a win. Fabi needs a win.
It's a game of chicken right now.
Fabi has to win. Sam can draw this and say, okay, now I have to win the next game.
Good luck.
Good luck is fine. The kid, if you're going to win the championship, you got to beat one of these two guys. It's
that's
either
for
him
sure.
or the next guy. If you're going to win the championship, you've got to do it. And, pick them. You want Fabi or Wesley for the win? You go right ahead. But it's Fabi who absolutely cannot draw. The moment he draws, he leaves the building. He's gone.
Right.
He doesn't wait around. It's bye-bye Fabi. You can walk away because he's out of the competition.
I think after the move queen g5, I would probably just play knight d5 myself. So in case of the trade of queens, I could recapture with the knight and just keep that position with the knight also going back to d5
Well,
on the
Sam
next
is
turn.
burning a lot of time on
I
this
was about to
decision
say,
right
has it-
now.
I mean,
Down to his last 4 minutes and 30
I
seconds. Last
don't-
2 minutes, he's been pondering his decision. Will he exchange the queens or play
Not.
queen to e1 and flinch?
No, I think it's between rook e1 and knight d5. I don't think it's going to trade, but I don't. I think this is not a critical moment. This is not the critical moment to be burning 2 minutes, and he's making a mismanagement of his time by doing so. I think knight d5 and just play that quickly, because I think the key moments are still ahead.
Queen takes g5 on the board.
I don't like that decision. Ooh. Once again, he could have started with knight d5. This pawn on this h6 pawn going to g5 really means that you're stuffed.
Yeah.
You're not playing f4. Okay,
And
I
I'm
do
probably going to
appreciate
get my knight to f4.
But let me ask you, how does Fabi defend the c7 pawn?
with a rook.
Rook to c8.
And if I attack it?
He did
to e8.
not. Rook to b8.
And if the knight comes back?
Rook to b7.
Okay, so then your rook would be on b7. All right.
Fine. I want to say White's point of view, I think what Sam was thinking is I can post my knight up on the d5 square, and you can't play the move c6 because I'll take this pawn. So Sam is thinking that maybe somewhere down the line, you're simply going to have to take that knight and I'll recapture and it will be a draw. But okay, if I'm Fabi, it's all about g6, king g7, and f5.
By the
And
way,
whoa, the other knight
The other knight has
pops up.
posted on f5 right now.
Was
That's
that
a
a good
visual.
move?
Looks good to me.
I don't know. G6?
I don't think you want to take that.
G6?
G6
And
has
if
to
knight,
then
but the
knight
knight
e7.
See that c pawn. That c pawn.
look at that.
He's tied the rook down to this pawn on c7.
Oh.
And remember, Fabi has to win. This is what Sam at least has that card in his pocket. Fabi cannot play any variation that repeats.
By the way, a move has been played, and is it G6? No,
No,
bishop
he
takes
has
No,
to-
he has to take the knight to not
Right.
allow. But now, Yasser, you were saying straighten out the pawns with
Right.
c takes d5.
Exactly.
And how does Fabi win this? By the way, knight e7, knight c6 is going
Still
to
on
be
tap.
on tap as well.
Well,
how
G6
does Fabi win this game?
He's got to play for f5. There's no other breaks.
There's
in
no
the-
other break that
in the
is even
position.
reasonable.
Right. Yeah, you don't play for c6. That's just suicide. But g6, what happens after g6, guys?
Whoa, what's the pregnant pause about right now? He's spending a long
He's thinking
time.
about taking with a rook,
That's what I'm thinking.
and he did.
he took with
the
the
rook. That was a surprise
Indeed.
recapture. Okay. So once again, it's about g6, right?
G6 was played.
You got to kick the knight back.
The key for Fabi right now is let this game last as long as possible. No, you don't need to be very specific in your play. But he did. He went for f5, and he's going for the aggressive play. He's got 3.5 minutes, 3 minutes and 15-second lead on the clock. To me, you need to get Sam under a minute. You should be playing slowly enough. You don't have to force anything. Don't let him trade anything off and force him to panic and make a mistake. Now it's time to play a little bit on the clock without any specifics. King g6, just chill, put a rook on f7 if you need to. Force Sam to drive the action. As his time is ticking down, he's never going to get time back.
Exactly.
He's 3 minutes down on the clock and counting. Whoa, a straight, a big move, securing the f5 square for his knight.
Don't like it. I really, really, really don't like it.
And he didn't go for it.
No, you just gave Fabi a huge opportunity to play for e4, and if you can get in that pawn break e5, e4, and trade off the f3 pawn, the resulting pawn structure is going to be a protected pass pawn on f4.
The position is starting to look very promising
That looks
for black.
great for black.
Ooh, And also, by the way, why create an h3 pawn weakness? Opponent might nibble on that one too.
By the way, this is the best result for Wesley. This is the best result you could ask for Wesley.
That Fabi wins?
That Fabi wins in all cases, because Sam will have to win,
And then we have a three-way tie?
and then maximum is a three-way tie. If it's a draw in the game, Wesley walks home.
Right.
This is the best result, because if there was a draw in this game,
Yeah.
then if a win by Sam, and then Wesley has to play some more. If there's a win in this game, again, a win by Sam, and he wins the championship. So he wants Sam to go down. That happens, he knows all he has to do is make a draw, and it's over. He
With
plays
the white
no
pieces?
more chess.
With the white pieces?
Yes, with the white pieces. That's right. Wesley will have white. And he knows this is the best result possible. All the math says, please beat the kid, because he knows a draw does the job. And now it's on Fabi to find the best moves to even stay, to have his life saved, because if he only draws, he's going home.
Exactly. Wow.
And he's got 4:11 on the clock, a good position.
We
I think
have
he
a
needs to
rook
move
H8.
knight back.
D7.
Whoa, knight back to D7. Did not see that coming.
The knight is heading
I thought the
towards
knight.
F6 or maybe C6 and then try to land on D4.
Well,
But it could
if
have
you
done it
were
from
going to,
E6.
if
You could
you
have
could
went to E6.
that was what I
Yeah.
was saying. It was
Yeah.
unexpected.
Knight to B5.
I think you put the knight back on C5 and make make him move.
right.
Fabi, you should be gaining time on the clock right now. Just repeat.
Whoa, he absolutely wanted his knight on F6 so he could play for E4.
But knight
Okay.
D5 is threatened, right? Knight D5,
Absolutely.
you can't put the knight back on D7.
No, and
It
that was
feels
a
like
move
knight
by
to
the
D7 has to be played. King to F7 disallows knight
Knight
to D5,
and what do?
which forces the trade of the knights.
I think Sam decided that he would like to trade knights, but he'd like to trade knights from the E4 square. I was wrong.
All right, he guarded C7 with his king. Is that progress for him? On the
Well,
king now on
Berlin-
C7. Whoa, is that king marching into White's
no.
position?
No, can't believe it. But again,
Right now we're going to have to.
as far as I was
see a
concerned,
knight D7.
I thought knight E4 for white was the way to go. Trade that knight off, play C3, queen side is locked up, king side is locked up, center's locked up.
Fabi's looking for a way to win. I don't
Exactly.
understand why he didn't at least gain some time on the clock, because now he had a 3-minute lead and his king is up the board. You look at Sam is playing instantly. The last few moves have been
Right.
instant, and Fabi's
And the
time is just being frittered away.
But the question here is, can I essay the double-edged king B4?
You can indeed.
Okay, I'm tickling the knight. You would probably have to play rook D3.
Rook D3 or knight. Knight to D5 allows a trade and then king to C3. That looks good for black. Rook to E7
the
focuses on
change.
This
E4.
allows knight D5 he had to assess. As
He
rook
wants
to
to break
D1
with
and
E4.
both rooks, again knight D5 he has to assess.
And again,
Knight to E4 feels like the move that needs to be played, or knight to D5.
I absolutely think.
Rook to
Whoa,
D2, allowing
here's
E4.
E4. Whoa, there will be a check. At the end of all the business is a check on D5. So think massive trades on the E4
Yeah, you
square.
don't wanna
followed by
trade.
rook D5 check, rook takes G5. So you got to prep it with C6.
King to B4 is a move as well.
King C6 is a move as well. Make a
No,
move.
no, C6, C6. Let's go.
C6.
C6, D5, E4. Okay, this is Fabi's strategy to get the pawn to E4. But he's maximized everything. He can't possibly do more than he's done right now.
But now the position is getting double-edged. You can go for E4, but that's going to allow white to grab a pawn.
But
on
black's
D6.
king is, white's king does look a little funny, and
Little
E4 is a chance.
suspicious.
E4 and taking on
love-
F3 is a chance, and he's sitting there thinking, only up now 20
love-
seconds on the clock.
Big decision
I
right now
love
for
E4.
Fabiano Caruana.
Come
E4,
on.
now or never.
Fabi, now.
E4, now or never,
it.
and he's done it.
E4 is on the board.
Whoa, rook D6,
Instantly.
allowing the capture on F3.
I'm expecting king F2.
Black has the better king in the endgame, by the way, we should know.
Of course, that king on C5.
By the way, rook to E2, is that a move? Rook to E2 followed by knight to E4.
That's a
It is
check.
definitely
no,
a move.
I'll take the rook,
But
and
then
I'll
you
take
take
on
the pawn on
F3.
F3. No, that's not enough.
No,
No,
you
take with the pawn. Why can't you take with the pawn?
Rook
to
E2
E2, knight
wins
takes
on the
pawn
spot.
takes. With the threat of knight E4, he just needs to find it.
It wins on the spot.
And he
He's
sees
done
it. Rook to E2, big time move.
Rook
on the board.
D6 was a terrible blunder.
Now knight takes, pawn takes,
Pawn
on
takes.
E2.
And that finishes
key
the game.
Should
move.
be the killer.
That finishes the game.
That's the key move.
What is he thinking
the
about?
rook on D6 is
there's no
hanging
rook
to the
D5
king.
check. Rook F6 doesn't work. Just
That is a win for Fabiano Caruana.
What?
He's
What
going to
is
take
he
on
thinking?
E2.
he
He's
just
going
needs to take on
E2.
E2, and that's game. What is he thinking about? What is he missing?
He's thinking of rook E2. I can't believe that.
No,
Come on, pawn takes.
no. He's
Done.
going to take with the pawn. He
The
knows
threat is
that
now
once
knight
he makes
and-
that move,
No, there's everything.
if
That's
white doesn't have
resigns.
an
That's
immediate
it.
response, the game
It's
is
resigns. There's no move.
It's it.
over. It's over.
It's over. Both rooks are hanging. Knight E4 check is one. Pawn takes rook is the other. He's got to resign in this moment.
Now, after this game, Sam Sevian will be forced to win in order to create a three-way
Three-way
tie.
That's
A
right.
three-way tie.
Yes, indeed.
I
But he
thought-
had to beat one of the big dogs. You had to do it. You wanted to beat Fabi? Okay, now you see what happened. Now it's time to beat Wesley.
But it was very strange. He played Queen G5, and it seemed to me like he was playing for a draw. Sam Sevian was playing for a draw thereafter.
This is not going to do it. Knight E4 check is enough, I would
Playing
think.
for two results with white, I don't get that.
Yeah, right?
A loss
That-
or a draw.
That was not necessary.
I don't get that. And now we're expecting with
King
an
to
extra
C5.
with an extra piece, this will be child's play.
Easy.
Rook E3, Knight E4 check would be my
That's
approach.
strong.
King to C5, Christian, love that move.
No, I like your move. Knight
Knight
E4
E4
check.
Let's go.
Anything wins. At this
Yeah, I think so too. That's the
Knight to
that's-
C3 or King to C5.
like
That's it. And Fabi, in a must-win game, has
Wow.
done it and now has forced Sam, with the black pieces, to have to try to beat Wesley So.
Tall order, tall order. Wow. Guys,
That will be short of a miracle
yeah.
for Sam Sevian to win with the black pieces against Wesley So.
Yeah, that was something. We've seen miracles in this event, including
Wesley
Fabi's
almost never loses. You remember that Grand Chess Tour in Paris?
Yes.
Rapid and blitz. He did not lose a single game
You're
up
right.
until round 16
You're right.
or something like
You're
that.
right. He's not a guy you try to beat.
Hey guys, without
He never loses.
it's been a black day.
But black is one, two
in the
games so far.
playoffs. It's been a black day.
Black is okay.
Black is okay.
Not only okay, black is sweet. 2 wins for black so
By the
far.
way, I think it's time to review our predictions as to who was going to win the Open. What do you think, Christian?
Yeah, I'm
baby.
out anyway. I'm out
Let's
anyway.
Let's just
look at it.
refresh.
Yes, yes.
Refresh.
Well, all
the
I can
viewers'
say-
memory.
All I can say
You had a good chance, Maurice. You
is-
had a good chance.
excuse me.
You still have a decent chance.
You should be quiet.
He was a half a point out.
You're not even.
I'm out anyway.
You're not even in the discussion as is Jeffrey. It's between me and Yasser down to the wire.
To
It
the
went
wire.
all the way down to the wire. If Yasser gets this one, then kudos to you, Yasser. Good pick. Mine, of course, was also a good pick. And the other peanut gallery participation trophy. Congratulations.
To Ferrugian.
By the way,
Jeffrey Jean.
producer, please make sure we understand that this was not the only pick that was made in this event. There is the pick for the Women's
Tournament is-
Championship as
The
well.
tournament is over.
ancient
The
history.
Women's Championship was a pick.
Tournament
Cue the
is
drum
over.
roll. And there we go.
Ancient
I
history.
picked the Women's Champion. So if we had to see who did the best combined picks, I also won that one.
I was with Arena.
Look,
know.
1, 2, and 3. That's not that bad.
That's not bad.
We-
I
it's
mean,
not
we
bad.
are
Nice
we are
participated.
the world.
You participated. It's not bad.
Not bad, not bad. Now we're talking about how on earth you're Sam's coach. What do you say? How do you prepare Sam for this all-important
You don't.
Yeah, so you had a great story about the guy who had to prepare
Bobby Fischer.
his opponent against Bobby
For those
Fischer.
who don't know this story, this is brilliant. This is a brilliant story.
You got to tell it quick, though.
Oh, got to tell it quick. Two great players from Argentina grew up together, played in all of these Argentina championships, Miguel Quinteros and Sergio Rubinetti. Truly, they were brothers in arms. And they were playing in a tournament in Buenos Aires with the great Bobby Fischer. At noon, Miguel receives a knock on the door, and there's his brother, Sergio. And he says, "Miguel, you have to help me. You must prepare me for my game with Bobby Fischer." And what does brother Miguel say to his best friend forever, for life? He says, "Listen, there is absolutely nothing I can do for you in the next 2 hours that is going to change your destiny. You're going to lose. Let's go out and have a lunch. And after the game, you could tell me how close you are to making a draw," which is precisely what happened. But hold on, just a second. Now, come on. You got to help me out on setting up the game. You got to help Sam Sevian. Come on, give him some advice. Give him some good advice to beating the great Wesley So.
Listen, there's nothing you can do.
Let's go and have a lunch.
Let everybody go. No. All right, seriously though, if I did have to give him advice, my biggest advice is don't play for a quick win. That's not going to work. Don't play crazy sharp openings. That's not going to work. Play slowly and make the game last the way Fabi just did against you. Play slowly but surely, and let the game last 50 moves, 60 moves, 70 moves. You're going to have to somehow outplay him. You're not going to catch him in some opening prep. No. Nobody's catching him in opening prep. That's not going to happen.
Right.
You need to lengthen this game as much as possible, and you need to stay ahead on the clock since he's getting no increments. You've got to be faster, and then when he makes an error, which is everybody makes a mistake, you need to be alert for all those moves and pounce.
And
but you're
exactly
not winning quickly.
Well, with good that's good
E4.
general advice.
How do you do it? I play one E4.
Exactly.
Which I'm not sure if he will, but I would
C6.
choose E4.
No, then I'm playing an open Sicilian.
Why not C6?
I'm not going to.
That's
D4. I'm not gonna
Caruana
play
is a great
D4.
way to play for a win.
Why not a modern? Why not what
hippopotamus.
Carissa did, a hippopotamus?
Again, a very, very decent way of keeping the position fluid, lots of pieces on the board. But that's what I was looking for, was the specific advice.
If E4
And
is on the
maybe
board.
the modern would work against D4 as well.
I think in the Sicilian there's a lot of ways to force a draw with white. The modern is the only one that I don't think of anything.
E4, D6, D4, G6.
Yep.
Fiancetta the bishop. E6, knight E7, knight D7
And
again. Look at the Carissa.
And then pray he doesn't have a straightforward plan that eats your clock.
Yeah, a forcing massive
And play fast.
trades.
And play quickly.
Got to stay ahead on the clock.
Must be ahead on the clock. You cannot be worse on the clock. You will blunder under pressure.
Why is Wesley so good in these situations of rapid chess? What makes him such a phenom when we play on the Grand Chess Tour?
He's a very practical player. He plays very fast. He doesn't make mistakes often, and he keeps the position closed.
He's a tactical genius as well. Let's get that straight.
He's got a great.
You make a mistake and it's over. And by the way, Wesley just needs a draw.
That's it.
That's it. A draw is all he needs. A win would be nice.
By the way, if he were to do that, if he were to make, he'd be the first repeat champion at some time.
In years, since Nakamura, or maybe Gadakomsky, about 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
And by the way, he won it in 2017 as well.
Yes.
Didn't he?
Yeah,
so
he's
2017,
2020,
2020, 2021.
Yeah, he's a two-time winner. He's looking for his third championship. So hard to add up those numbers.
Or was it 2018 where?
I think it was 17. 2018, I believe it was 17. He won it the year after he won the Grand Chess Tour, which was 2016. And then he hit again. Fabi won in 2016. Wesley took it the next year when he was winning everything.
Then who won it in 2018?
Sam.
Sam Shanklin. Yes, that is true.
Sam, and then Naka won in 2019, then Wesley won in 2020, and now looking for 2021. title right now. Destiny in his own hands. We haven't had a repeat win, as we said. The names of repeat winners are legendary names like Nakamura, like Gadakomsky. You got your Bobby Fischer.
Bobby Fischer.
Yasser, did you win back-to-back championships?
I don't think I did. No.
Oh,
I think
that's how hard it is. That's how hard it is.
The problem was the prize fund in my days were so low that I oftentimes didn't accept my invitations because, they were 3-week long events and they were held not in the best of locations, shall we say, and they competed with the international tour. As the players are at the board,
if we had started,
big moment.
If we had started the day and said Wesley So beats Fabi with black, we say it's over.
Tournament over.
We say the tournament's over. That's
Right.
it. Wesley So beats Fabi with black. That's it. He could not have hoped for a better result, and he should win. And that's what we're expecting right now. But that's why we play the games.
Exactly.
And can a miracle of miracles happen right now? The underdog by a lot with his back to the wall with the black pieces on top of it, pull this off.
I remember Annie Wang and Naji Pakitsi playing in a playoff for the Women's Championship.
That was amazing.
And how amazing was that? Oh my goodness.
D4 on the board and G6. We got it right.
We got it right.
We got it right.
We said
this is what we thought you needed.
You have to play the modern.
And that first move stopped Wesley, and he said, okay, how can I force the draw in the most easiest way? G2, G3.
Did he go for F5 for a Leningrad Dutch?
I don't want to do that against Wesley.
I don't want to do that.
I really don't want to do that against Wesley.
So you go into
the
a King's
problem
Indian.
is, if I go knight f6,
Then that's a King's Indian. I go G3, and in general, I can keep it close with white.
exactly. I think Wesley wants to play
E4.
E4.
E4 is
and
on
I
the board.
think Wesley wants to play a bishop G5 system.
All right, there he
Bishop
goes,
E2.
giving his opponent space.
Okay. Now you've got to go into an old Indian as black, whether you like it or not. You take on D4 and play knight f6.
I like this knight E7 idea if it's not losing. It's not the best place for the knight.
I'm not sure. H4, H5.
H4, H5 would be the recipe against this move.
That's the problem. H4 is...
And that's okay. You're going to give white the advantage
No,
in
he
an
didn't play
attempt to
for
win.
it. He didn't play for it. He just castled.
But as Wesley, you're in a must-draw situation. Are you going to play H4 or castle? You're going to try to keep it
Listen, when you have to
slow,
draw,
play
you know what the
slow
recipe
game.
is for when you have to draw?
Get a good position.
You get a position, the guy's crying in front of you. H4 and tell him you're trying to win the game. Trying to make a draw is a sure way to lose a chess game. That's not what you do. But he doesn't want to take any real chances. I don't think he's trying for a draw. I think he's just not going to play.
He's playing for an advantage.
He's going to play for advantage and keep the game close.
By the way, just a quick question for you both. Are there draw offers?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Since
We don't
since
really
there
know
were no draw
a
offers.
clear
in,
answer to that. But
in the actual
by
championship,
the way,
this is the championship.
There will
so-
be no draw offers
draw
in this game. Offer
Well,
all
I mean,
you want to.
no, I mean, Wesley is up a rook. And he says to the opponent, you want to draw? Okay, I'm a rook down.
No.
But I just wanted to ask if it was even permitted that he
It
could.
was permitted. We haven't seen any draw offers this entire tournament. I remember days when people argued. I wrote an article called "The End of the Draw Offer." The end of the draw is what I called it, actually.
Yeah.
The end of the draw, and people blasted me for this article.
Furious.
They were angry. What do you mean
Yeah.
you can't offer a draw anymore? What's
your
wrong with
God-given
you?
right.
I was like, I'm telling you, it's better for chess if you don't have draw. It was draw
And
offers.
here we go, F5.
And F5 on the board.
Okay.
And now we've seen an entire tournament played, two sides, exciting chess. We've seen it in the Singfield Cup. It's easy. The players just keep playing. It's not the end of the world. F5, this is the chance he needed, was something sharp.
Well, if I'm in Wesley's shoes, I'm assuming
I'm gonna
you're
take with the
taking
knight.
no, then I take on knight and H6 is hanging.
So I have to take with the pawn and
You
change the
do
queens
have
at
to
that
take
point.
with the pawn.
I don't want
and
to do
then
that.
I want to play C5.
What if
What?
I take the pawn?
I thought E5 was hanging. So if you take on C5, I'll trade on D8, and I'll take, and I'll take.
That's okay.
I'm just trying to hoover.
You're trying to make a draw, yeah?
Yeah, hoover things off the board right
No,
away.
Be careful with those trying to make draw situations again. Play the best move.
He's done
He
it,
took
by
on
the
E5.
way.
And it happens to be the best move. It's not.
does it?
It's
Is
not
it?
trying to make a draw. It happens
Okay.
to be the best move because Black has created weaknesses in his camp.
That's the whole point. He really has.
Yeah, so you're taking
Absolutely.
advantage of the weaknesses. You don't have to do the math to make a draw. You just keep playing great moves.
G3.
E4.
B4?
Same idea. Get in
I like
C5.
that. I like that.
Okay.
move.
And if
Do
A5?
you
now?
A5, Bishop A3? No, Bishop A3 I can't do. A5, B5 with the idea of Bishop A3. Remember the blitz game between Wesley So and Garry Kasparov, where he went like B4, B5, C5, and Gary came on set and he said that was a game of Morphy versus amateur. And I was the amateur, said Garry Kasparov.
By the way, this B4 move, this position has been seen before. Before
Really?
B4. B4 was a novelty.
Really, I'm a bit surprised this is in the database. I thought
Still in
that
the database.
Yeah, but B4 strikes me as a very logical move.
I just checked with the engine. It's giving a huge edge to this novelty for white.
As we are ready to play Bishop to A3, C5, B5, and
Everything is going to work
this
for white right now.
diagonal is very unpleasant, I want to say. This bishop is not doing anything here. Can't even go there, by the way. Bishop would not be doing anything on the E3. You look to get your pieces as effective as possible.
great
Bishop
move.
A3.
And again, a statement move. This is what I was saying. You need to make a draw. You're Wesley So. You know how you do it? You make the guy beg for it. You know, oh, I need a draw. No, you will beg for the draw. Keep playing aggressive moves and see what I do to your position. He understands the circumstance. And I think that Sam's F5, it looks like the most natural thing. Like, what else are you supposed to do with the structure?
Right.
But you do create weaknesses instantly. And you need it to somehow let the game last instead of just blasting your way through because
By
you
the
need
way,
to make a win.
That knight is heading towards D4 right now.
Knight C6, it just feels a little bit artificial. Not
B5,
that I had
knight
a
to
good,
D4 has to be.
not that I had a good suggestion for Sam,
B5
but
on the board?
it does feel a little artificial that you're putting the knight here. Bishop A3 looks like a very big tempo.
Played.
I want to say.
Rook
He
E8
played it
looks
very
forced.
quickly.
Bishop A3 was played.
There's a rook F7, but I don't want to put it on F7.
Well, I'm thinking that White's intent is to capture this pawn and then capture this knight and really wreck black's structure. Oh, by the way, keep in mind,
I just don't want to
C7
see
was
C5.
played, and an
C5.
immediate C5 I think was played.
I don't want to see C5. That's why I didn't want to put the rook on F7. And Bishop going to C4. What am I supposed to do here?
By the way, Wesley is playing super relaxed right now.
Of course he is.
He's just making moves,
fast.
a la tempo,
Dominating.
putting pressure on his opponent.
constant pressure.
This is a man who knows that the championship is his if he does the right
For
thing.
the plucking.
He won with black already. His opponent is forced to win with the black pieces, and he can just keep the pressure on and roll.
F takes E4 is on the board.
F takes E4, not desirable, but again, not
How do
too
you
many.
react though?
After F takes E4, I'm just taking.
On E4 or on D4? If
I'm
you take
just
on E4, I'm
taking.
going to take on F3. You're just taking, yes.
I'm taking with the knight. I'm going to say, go ahead. Yeah. I got a lousy
Why can't you
structure.
win material here? There's got to be something in. And take Bishop
took on
C4 right
D4.
now.
That's
he's
a move.
taken.
He played it.
And he's played it. It's over. This game is over.
Knight takes D4.
You can't control everything. Your position is going to
and
collapse.
now Bishop C4?
Bishop
Yeah.
to C4 is on the board.
Now.
If you take on C3, I'm going to take on F7, then Queen to D5. And where do you put
you're
the
getting
king?
killed.
Where do you put the king?
You're getting destroyed. This is a massacre right now. Wesley So dominating this playoffs completely, as he's just going to crush both opponents. Well, he stole the first game basically, but hey, he got it. Points, got it. Now he's just going to demolish this opponent and say, I am the champ. You got to beat the champ to take the title. In boxing, he's doing it here in punishing style, saying, I am the champ. And that's it. We've seen material drop.
Could you update mine?
And what
And remember how disappointed Wesley So was after that draw in his interview with Maurice?
Yeah,
the draw
ancient
against
history once
Daniel
again.
Naroditsky.
I mean, whatever he did to reset his mind and get back into the competitive flow, he has done it. he is dominating.
Yeah, sir, I'm sorry. I'd love that to be the narrative, but Fabi blew the last game.
He did.
Fabi just blew the game.
He did.
Wesley
He had
will
to
walk in
win.
here and say, I was lucky
Lost.
against Fabi. He will not say that he just cruised.
Right.
He was lucky against Fabi. Fabi blew that game, and Fabi probably has walked out of the building right now seeing this position on the board, or maybe he's hanging around because he knows. He's like, are you kidding me? I could have done this whole thing. This could have been in here.
This could
have been me.
And look at this. I think that, unfortunately for himself, Sam had to drop material, but I think he made the best of it by getting a bishop for the exchange, and he's hoping that he'll be able to get his queen to d5. And I don't know, on a very, very good day, be able to utilize the pawn. So maybe something like queen d5, knight here, and d3.
At least you have the light squares.
Yeah,
At least you have the light squares.
He's saying, like, I'm
If you
still
can
with
maintain
you.
that pawn on d4 and not lose it in the next few moves, then you actually have a chance.
Okay.
You play for something.
And
Bishop to
here we
b2, and
go.
he's targeting that pawn on d4 immediately.
But also, not only that, he's making sure that any d4, d3, this bishop will not be offsides, sitting behind this pawn on c5. Also, he's thinking that should this pawn ever be tickled, he's got a defense a2,
Sam has
a4.
to play fast right now because he's down on time, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. He only
think
has
queen-
4 minutes and 30 seconds left on the board.
I can't imagine him having a better move than
Queen
queen
d5. Queen d5.
And
I'm
he
afraid
should-
of queen b3 against your queen d5, though.
Okay,
Take
but at least I
e6.
get a pawn.
Bishop to c4.
Bishop c4. Okay, as a prelude to queen d5, I'm not sure I can support that move. That move, well, I mean, I'm playing a4. If in that case queen d5, I can play knight d2, maybe hunt down this bishop. I'm not a fan of, but okay, again, the position is not
a4
great
was played.
whatsoever. A4, of course. Queen d5. I mean, Sam better start playing quickly. What's the time situation?
He only has 4 minutes and
A6,
I believe
trying to
13
hook that
seconds
pawn.
left. 6 minutes and 10 seconds left for Wesley and counting.
This is a
don't think that's-
Herculean task. We cannot overstate how difficult it's going to be for Sam to come back in this game. He is in so much trouble right now, and he just got to hope Wesley makes a horrible move. That's his only chance.
I think this is a bad idea by Sam. I think knight d2 and knight f3,
Which was
plays
played,
itself
is on the
for
board.
knight d2 and knight f3. I want to take this pawn. Yes,
That's
yes,
the
yes,
thing.
yes. You can take on b5.
You have to force that pawn from d4 to move all the way to d3. Allow me to exchange dark square bishop, and that's all she wrote. If I can do that, if I can trade the bishop, then the game is over.
Right. I'm thinking ab5, rook a1, bishop a1, maybe even queen a1, but okay. Rook a1, bishop a1, and after bishop b5, knight f3. This
That's
is my
exactly what he's
strategic
aiming at.
achievement that I want to
And make a point about that position, please, because
Yeah,
I think the
okay.
fans want to know why that's so decisive.
Because you're going to have to be forced to play d3 and expose your king with queen to b3 and bishop takes g7. So Wesley will have
I think
material.
you'll also actually, you'll be in a lot of trouble with your pawns on that side as well, right? Rook
Exactly.
e6.
Exactly.
I'm just going to take on g7, go queen d2, take advantage of the weakness of the dark squares in that position.
Let's make a couple of moves while we wait. D3, continue with D3, bishop. You said bishop G7,
Yeah.
and takes. I think Christian mentioned queen B2,
Queen D2.
with a little nasty threat of queen to B2 check.
Queen d2 or queen b3? Which one do you prefer? Queen d2? Okay.
Queen d2.
Queen D2 is sneakier.
Sneak.
You know, Christian has sneaky tactics going
No.
for queen B2. Rook E6,
like
of course,
rook
is a
E6.
nice move as well.
Queen a1 check.
Lots of options.
Lots
May
of
I
great. That's what he's
introduce-
been analyzing.
He's going for that variation right
but
now.
I don't believe you can trade rooks and get away and survive this.
He
position.
did. Rook takes a1.
That's
I
what he
believe, is on
did.
the board.
He's going to lose easily.
Rook takes a1. So rook takes a1. Now here's the question though, because queen takes
Bishop
a1.
takes a1 was played.
Okay, because queen takes a1 also had something.
And he's playing it right into our line.
Right,
We predicted
knight
the game.
f3.
And now we're
Knight
just waiting
f3.
for the simple, straightforward knight of 3, and your position collapses like
Quickly.
a house of cards. This is not going to hold up. Knight of 3, push the pawn, trades. As long as white has a rook on the board, your pieces cannot fight back.
And that pawn on d3 is just not going anywhere. Not with the knight on f3. And here we go.
Knight to f3 is on the board. Bishop takes g7.
Sometimes Wesley makes it look simple, right?
Queen a1. That knight is going to d4 and is going to land on e6 with devastating consequences.
Ooh, I didn't even see that.
No,
I
bishop
would-
d7 stops you, at least.
But
Well,
that doesn't
then-
allow me to
doesn't
target the
end your
d3
life.
pawn.
D3 pawn,
Then I'm
yeah.
going to go queen to c3 or rook to d1, focus on the d3 pawn, and that's going to be lost.
By the way,
I mean, it's already lost.
It's game over.
It's already lost. This game is death. I mean, Wesley had all he could dream of when he won with the black pieces against Fabi, and now, and then his opponent lost and had to play for a win with black, so played very cagey chess, very aggressive chess, I should say. King back to g8.
King g8 on the
he
board.
couldn't have gotten anything better.
No.
He got everything he needed.
That was the
This
perfect
is-
result
The
for me.
perfect two results. Winning
This
with
is-
black. There's knight d4
knight
play.
d4, you played
D4.
your move. I thought rook e6. I was always thinking that the rook was landing on e6 because of the g6 pawn weakness, but he played knight d4.
I think
and
he
he's
wants to
looking-
keep that rook on the first rank just to be sure that no d2, d1 somehow comes fast on the board.
Queen c3.
Knight d4,
What do you do
bishop
with
c-
this bishop?
He's putting the
over.
question. to
Knight
the
e6
bishop.
is unstoppable mate.
The game is over.
Knight e6 will be unstoppable. So queen d5, for example, just loses to knight e6.
Right.
So you can't defend this piece. You have to move
You
it.
have to play bishop to d5. That's going to allow me to pick up the pawn on d3.
At
Your
least.
last threat in the position, and that's all she wrote.
Guys, it's so bad right here, right now.
Precise
I think
play
it
by
might
Wesley.
be
This is it?
resignable.
It is
This
resignable.
It's that bad.
1 minute
I
and
don't see
10
it.
seconds left for Sam Sevian.
And by the way, this is a $50,000 game.
Oh, yeah.
He wins this game. He takes home the $50,000 prize. Sam will pocket $30,000 along with Fabi as they tie for second and third. But this is a $20,000 swing game. And whoa, what is this? This
C
cannot
takes
work.
b5.
This is
Knight,
desperation.
Can't possibly work.
This is what we call desperation.
It certainly is that.
Knight to e6 should
Knight
finish the
e6.
game.
Knight c6.
Knight c6 is the one I
Everything
liked.
finishes the game
Yeah,
right now.
no, knight c6 was the one I liked because we're landing.
I also like
on
b7 actually.
b7. But knight c6, we're landing on e7 with the rook.
You guys
We'll
are
be
killers,
threatening-
man. Like how many we see victim.
Come
We all
on, we
wanna
see a
make
player
moves.
get victimized. Just
Could I
like
play
a-
white, please?
Please, could I? I mean, it's like
Damn, nice
C6.
It's like an ultimate moves. You know, hey coach, put me in, put me in.
Queen d7 allows rook to e7.
E7, that's
Good
what I was
night.
thinking.
Where do you put the queen? f8, but then b7, or takes on c7. I mean, you name it. This one is over. Wesley So will be the champion, barring a heart attack. I mean,
Yes,
right.
pretty
it's
much at this
there's,
point.
There's no way. Queen, where?
G5. Queen G5.
But now I can just simply go b7.
That's-
b7, forcing you to take with the knight because b8 is coming in. I'm getting my second
Well,
queen,
he's-
and you lose the pawn on
And if
c4.
and he's reaching for his pawn. He's ready to go B7, D2,
That's it. That's it.
D2. Oh, look at
That's
Sam.
one checkmating threat, but that's about it.
My turn, says Wesley.
well, rook
Queen
e7,
with check.
excuse me, rook e7
Finishes the game.
How about
does
Queen C7?
makes you give up the queen.
Queen C7.
Anything, anything
come
goes.
on. Queen
Anything
C7.
goes.
And he's
Yeah.
taken, and that's it.
Congratulations, Wesley.
The champ, Wesley So, the repeat champ, Wesley So.
Wow.
2 in a row. Many might have argued that 2020 was a pandemic year and they played online, and maybe, just maybe, he didn't quite win a legitimate championship. Of course it was, but it was online. But he has done it once more at the chessboard in the world famous St. Louis Chess Club and said, yes, indeed, I reign as the best U.S. player. Period.
Congratulations, Wesley. Really, really nice. Okay, definitely a hiccup in the game with Fabi, but he played it at the very end incredibly well.
He played a practical game. He kept his edge on the clock, and he understood how important that is in a 10-minute game.
Right.
With so much tension. And remember, we do not see an increment in this format. We see the delay, and we saw how fatal that can be for a player that goes down to their last few seconds.
As happened with Fabi. The delay, I think it's a fine idea. I just like to see it played throughout the whole tournament as opposed to playing the entire tournament with an increment and then only at the very end
And
using
there
the delay
we
feature.
see the sweet embrace
But
of
Wesley's
Wesley's mom.
Wesley, he's a
mom.
guy who he plays fast, whatever you do in front of him.
Right.
He's going to play quickly and quickly. He's always practical. He just gets it done as they coming down into the basement where we are, where the studio is, but the rightful champion.
2021 U.S. Chess Champion, Wesley So.
But by the way, I mean, I just got to say, I think he played the best chess.
He deserved it.
I mean, he was undefeated throughout the classical portion, and he is the repeat champion as he comes into studio.
And there we see Maurice.
Yeah, Maurice with the hardy ankle. I mean, he got a better handshake from Maurice than from any one of his opponents. It was like, wow.
I'm waiting for the day Maurice will play again.
Ah, you're prepping. You're prepping for that. Okay, okay.
Maybe I'll give Maurice the wild card.
Listen,
Now we're talking.
Give Maurice the wild card. I like that idea. I
I've
like
seen the
that
movie
idea.
Jaws. Sharks like you in the water. I like it right where I'm standing. Wesley, first of all, congratulations
Thank you.
for winning the championship. What does it mean to win also in back-to-back years? That is not something that's been done in quite some time.
Yeah, means a lot. Well, first of all, I thank the Lord Jesus. All glory to Him for giving me the victory. I mean, I got many people to thank also, especially, first I'd like to thank our big chess supporters, without which none of this would be possible. Rex and Jeannie Singfield, they're right there outside. I saw them watching the games. Jeannie, I think I've only seen Jeannie 3 times here in St. Louis, but it's always nice to have her around. It's very pleasant. So just the dedication that they give, also Rex watching the games, being here every single day, cheering up the players. I think it's none of the other supporters ever. Maybe there are a few, but very rare to see. But yeah, winning this tournament is a lot. It's time to celebrate. I wasn't actually expecting to be in the playoffs today. I think Fabiano was pushing and pushing his game yesterday. So I was a bit disappointed if he won. I feel like I'm running out of energy also in this tournament. But
When you saw him playing yesterday, was
Yeah.
there a moment as you saw him pressing that you thought,
yeah.
it's over, I've got to let this one go?
Yeah, that's true. No, my mom and I were having dinner in the hotel, and we were following the games online. But of course, the engines are very weak. But it was giving like a winning advantage for Fabiano after the queen sack. So I thought Fabiano was gonna push it. Also, Sam was not playing his best in this tournament. So I thought it's over, it's done at that point. But actually, later I looked at the game deeper, and Fabiano was winning, but it's a very complicated win. So. And today, anything can happen.
Let me ask you before we get to today, the moment you found out that it was a draw, and it was clear to you that it was a draw, what was your feeling like knowing that the playoffs gave you a chance today?
Yeah, very happy. It's like giving me new life. I thought the tournament was pretty much over by yesterday. Fabiano almost won 3 games in a row. Well, he won 3 games, but not in a row. So it just gave me a new breath of life that this tournament might not be over, that I might still have some chances. And I'd like to thank Sam for saving that difficult game.
And let's add to this one then today. You mean Sam Shanklin?
Yes.
Now let's get to today. You play against Fabi.
Yeah.
And no bones about it. He came at you, and you were on your back in this first game with the black pieces.
Yeah, that's true. Well, first of all, I think I slept all right yesterday, and I didn't prepare anything. I didn't look at any chess. I had a clear mind coming in. I just want to play fast. Also, the time control, it's 2-second delay, not increment. So time is very crucial here. So I just want to play fast and make some good moves. But the thing, I thought I had a very comfortable position out of the opening when he got double pawns. So I kind of relaxed at that stage. I knew he was going to go all out. Fabi plays for a win with both colors. So I knew he was going to go all out, but somehow I misplayed the position. I just relaxed too early, played some moves, and suddenly found myself in a very difficult position. And in the end game, he probably missed a win somewhere.
Rook B1 instead of knight D5 was the moment as he played against you would have been much more challenging after he sacrificed on C6.
Yeah, this game is so weird. Like, I don't even know what we're moving. I think we are making tons of mistakes in the middle game. But so I had no idea what's going on. But knight C6, yeah, I think Rook B1 is not easy to play. I guess King C7, Knight D5 is the point.
Exactly.
King C6,
Wesley.
Rook B6. I guess we both missed that. I think he had a minute at this point. I think Rook B1 is not very clear because Rook B1, King C7, Knight D5, King C6, Rook B6, King D7, Bishop B5, King C8. And I don't see a win for white. So Knight D5, King takes, Rook B6, King D7, Bishop B5, King C8. But maybe the endgame is winning. Like you can, I don't know, take on F6 or something. My rook is very awfully placed.
Yeah, your rook looks especially inhospitable, huh?
Maybe rook to b7 right now.
Rook to
Rook
B7.
B7, King C6, Rook F7. Yeah,
And then just take on f7.
Oh,
you
yeah,
cannot
yeah.
take on d5, that's the problem.
Yeah, this is very clean. Yeah. So after Rook B7, maybe I should go to D6. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's lost. Like King D7, Rook B7, King D6.
King d6 and maybe take on f6 right now and then take on
Yeah, but
f7.
the thing in this game, I was playing with no pressure. Like I didn't expect this play up, so I was just playing fast, playing chess. If chances come, good. If I lose, that's fine too. So I was absolutely just playing very calmly, and it paid off.
When did you feel, Wesley, that the tide had truly turned?
Well, when I saw this, when I put this knight on D6, I feel like I'm holding.
Yeah,
Like because my c-pawn is very fast.
yeah.
So when I brought my knight to D6, I feel like I'm pretty sure he totally missed this knight C8, knight D6 idea. He probably thought he was just winning. Yeah, I think E4 was a bad move because maybe he had some other tries like Rook B1. But yeah, but when I got my knight to D6, I feel like the worst is over because and also later on, like I wasn't thinking of winning, but yeah, here it's very unclear. I thought instead of King E3, I thought he had Rook B8 and Rook G8. Like F5, Rook B8, King C7, Rook G8.
Looks much more.
Yeah, but it's probably just a draw. Yeah, so
Better than the game.
Yeah, and I think Fabi and I had no idea what was going on, and then later in the game, I look at the clock and he had 1 second.
Right.
And since this is delay, you don't gain any time. So, and then next thing I look, he lost on time. The arbiters pointed out also.
Right.
Then you obviously had to watch him play against Sam, and he managed to win that game, which was the best result for you because now you knew that a draw was enough.
Assured of even if I lose, we move on to the blitz.
Right. And
Yeah.
so then the question became how to approach a game that you know a draw is enough. How do you normally approach that kind of situation, or how did you approach this one?
Well, during the last few months, I prepared a repertoire for white with 1d4 when I only wanted draw. So against all openings, I played drawish. Like I prepared drawish lines against him, so Grunfeld, King's Indian, a Queen's Gambit. So if I want to play safe, I have a very safe opening repertoire with 1d4. So it helps a lot that I'm white. If black, anything can happen. Sam Sevian is a very dangerous player. Also, I saw his interview yesterday, and he said that with black, he tends to prepare solid openings and stuff. So I was very comfortable with d4. I know he has to play some Dutch or King's Indian.
So when he played what he played, at some point it seemed like you switched gears and said, "I'm just going to be aggressive." Particularly b4. At that point, it looks like you felt you had a great position and you wanted to win.
Well, I didn't want to win. I just want to throw. Yeah. But
Okay.
but the worst thing happened is I relax and then the position becomes slightly more difficult. Well, I know he could play something like this, knight d7, but I also knew that he's not very experienced in such positions. And in playing King's Indian structures, you need tons of experience, which I think Sam is not very familiar with these knights here. Also, knight d7, knight e7 looks a bit dubious. And I think how I played with rook e1, bishop f1 is very solid. and I got queenside place. So I think I didn't run into any problems in this game.
Again, you're the champ, back-to-back championships. Does that matter to you?
Yeah, it matters a lot. I remember 2017, I really wanted to win my first US championship because it was getting more and more difficult. And I wasn't sure if I was going to win it, but now this is my third title, and it's huge. I feel like the US Championship is one of the tournaments that we have to play every single year, and winning the title is huge. It's even more important than the money.
All right, well, congratulations. You won the title and the money. You're the 2021 U.S. champion.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I must say that today in the tiebreaks with 2 games and 10 seconds, anything could happen. I think Fabi should have won today considering how well he played. But yeah, today's my day.
It is indeed.
Wesley, first of all, congratulations. You came here in the studio after your game against Daniel Naroditsky, dejected.
Yeah.
How did you turn the tide at that point?
I just moved on and forgot about it. That was really painful. Not because I would have moved to +3 and also the rating and stuff would be number 6 in the world and all that. But I think it happens to everyone. That's the game of chess. There's not one player which have missed chances in this tournament. So I guess I look at it like a sportsman. Like in basketball, you can miss your shots, or in football, you can miss your throws. I think in chess, that's just part of the game. That's why you just need to keep getting better and improving, and know that there are always going to be instances which you're going to miss. I mean, yeah, it's hard, but you need to move on to the next game.
The mindset of a champion.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wesley,
By the way, Wesley, you are wrong on one thing. You said you thought +3 was going to win the championship. It turned out +2 was enough.
Yeah, this
year.
is crazy. Yeah, I think it's never happened before where +2 won a championship. 2017, I was +3 with Alexander Onischuk, and I tied for first. But I think, this never happened before. I think Lenier, Fabi, myself, also Shanklin and Jeffrey, so all 2700s were out of form in this tournament, as you can see. But also the championship is getting stronger every single year. Like next year, we'll have Levon. So you can't really compare 2012 championships from this year.
Yasser, +2 winning the championship in your memory?
I think once Michael Wilder, it was a very, very, very soft tournament. Somehow nobody could pull away, but it's very, very rare. Wesley, I just simply wanted to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Celebrate your victory. It was very well deserved.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yasser.
You bet.
It's totally unexpected. Yeah, maybe next year one of you can play again. I mean, I look at your games, Yasser.
You're encouraging. You're encouraging us.
If you want to take a break for 1 year.
Actually, Wesley, anytime you want. We got a hot seat right over here. You want to?
You can play the Karokan in English.
We'll send Maurice to the Lions.
For you.
Right. Yeah. We're gonna send Maurice first. give him a good, him a good send off.
Yeah, I don't know what opening Maurice plays.
And you won't.
And you won't. Congratulations again.
Thank you, guys.
And as Wesley started his interview with a thanks and a big shout out to each and everybody as we get to see a repeat of how he won the finishing touches. We also want to give a shout out to so many people behind the scenes here at the St. Louis Chess Club and Scholastic Center that makes these broadcasts possible. Start us off, Christian.
Absolutely. Well, the guys and ladies at Spectrum Studios, of course, Randy, Kevin, Marcus, Brian,
baby.
and Jen, who takes care of us.
Keeps us in our place. Spectrum, a Silverback Video with Kevin, Tom, Kite, 80 years young. Oh, that's just so fun. Sean, Nate, Will, Megan, Jim, Stefan, and Evan Var.
Our
in
colleague,
the truck, of course, getting a participation
trophy,
prize.
of course.
Kostya for the whole social media stuff. Leonard, the man behind the scenes, makes sure all the DGT boards work. And from the St. Louis Chess Club
and the tremendous photos as well.
Exactly.
Leonard, that is.
From the club.
Jonathan, Ben, Tracy, Danny, Eric, Ryan, Rebecca, Emily, who
Thank
also
you
had
so
a birthday
much.
during this tournament.
You guys are great.
And of course, the big bosses.
Tony
Joy, Rex,
and Jeannie. Thank you, one and all. Really, it's a great pleasure. It's so much fun. And let's review our standing, starting with the Open.
Absolutely. Well, what a championship this was. And this is it. This is him, the champion. 2021 U.S. Chess Champion, Wesley So, after a dominant road during the playoffs.
A repeat winner. Congratulations to Wesley. And here's everybody,
including their prizes.
Nice.
Wesley So, $50,000. Fabiano Caruana and Sam Sevian are going to be sharing second position, $30,000 for both of those gentlemen. Lenier Dominguez, $15,000. Ray Robson, $50,000. Alex Lenderman, $15,000 as well. Sam Shanklin, $9,000. Darius Zvierch, $7,500. John Burke, $7,500. Jeffrey Shong and Daniel Naroditsky are sharing 10th position, $5,500 for both of those gentlemen, and Lazaro Bruzon with $4,000.
And our ladies champion, Christian.
Well, we've crowned a champion yesterday in that tournament. That was the 2021 U.S. Women's Chess Champion, Carissa Yip.
Very, very deserving. And the whole list of winners.
Well, we have Carissa Yip, who pocketed $25,000. Gulruk Begim Tohirjonova pocketed $18,000.
Our congratulations to her in her debut.
Absolutely, what a debut that was. Irina crushed $13,000 in third position, completing the podium. Katerina Nemtsova, Tatev Abrahamian, and Ashwita Eswaran tied for fourth position. Each of those ladies get $8,000. Talia Cervantes with $5,000.
I was about to say, nice to see Tatev making a comeback. At one moment, she was really languishing. She really put together a comeback. Sorry, you were mentioning Talia.
Yes, Talia Cervantes in seventh position. Nazi Paikize and Anna Zatansky tied for eighth position, $3,750 each. Sabina Foishor, Anna Sharevich, and Megan Lee are tied for 10th position and take home $2,500.
Our congratulations to all the contestants for making these championships so memorable. Maurice, you always like to tell us the U.S. Championships are your favorite tournament. What do you think about these editions?
These were fantastic, no question about it. Carissa's dominance after losing and coming back, winning 5 in a row, that bingo she put up against those fantastic players, something we've never seen, a woman winning against 4 former champions. That was terrific. And these playoffs, down to the wire, what more could you want as far as drama is concerned? Wesley So emerging as the rightful winner. This was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun working with you two as well. This is the first time this team has worked together. Yaz, we've been working together for years and years, maybe on decades.
Yeah, that's
and always a pleasure, my friend. Your attitude, your spirit, your effervescence, your way with words always keeps us enthralled and entertained. And Christian, first time in the hot seat, leading the show. Marvelous job. Top of the line. I didn't think you had it in you when you first sat down.
Thank you, Maurice.
But man, you rocked without any question about it. Great work and good to be with you guys for this amazing hurrah, last hurrah of the year. Enjoy the rest of the year, guys. Enjoy the holiday season.
Such a pleasure to work with you guys. And don't forget, tonight we do have the closing ceremony.
Absolutely, yes.
So join us. We will be broadcasting that live from the beautiful Muni Forest Park.
Lovely. We'll see you all there. Thank you for sharing your day with us. Bye-bye, everyone.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.